Sebastian Vendel-Martinez, MMAnytt, here with Luke Barnatt, who faces Sean Strickland at UFC Fight Night Berlin this weekend. So Luke, you're looking sharp.
Yeah.
Poster, you're main carding,
Yeah.
undefeated in the UFC. Things seem to go pretty well for you.
Yeah, I think probably had one of the best 12 months in the UFC over the last 12 months. Obviously, remained undefeated, went 3-0, won a bonus. You know, it's been great. Got finishes, and now I'm fighting in Germany. So I feel like I'm moving in the right direction. Put it that way.
You're 3-0 in the UFC, and I think after your last win, some people were expecting a slightly more high-caliber opponent, so to speak. All respect to Strickland, but he's only got one fight in the UFC. Were you also maybe expecting someone a little bit more established?
I asked for a few more established bodies. I asked Joe for quite a few fights, and there was no one available. They all had lined-up fights, or they were injured, or so it just didn't work out. And then I was in Dallas to watch Sean fight, because I was there to watch Kelvin fight Rick Story. I saw him fight Bubba, I saw him win, and then I saw Joe Silva literally straight after the fight. He walked past and I went, "What about Sean Strickland in Germany?" And he went, "Done." So it was just more of an opportunist thing rather than anything else. He is undefeated, which is great. Obviously I'm undefeated. It's always a great fight when it's like that, and I've got main card status, so I'm going to be definitely looking for an established guy after this fight. When I win, I'm going to be trying to push myself up and try and get into the top 15 in the middleweight division. So I think people will get their wish, and I'll fight an established guy after this. But Sean's, it's not easy to go 14-0, so he's a very tough guy, and the way he ran through Bubba, we're both coming off first round finishes. That's pretty impressive. So it's going to be definitely a great fight.
He spoke with media yesterday, and he said that you've picked and chosen your opponents very carefully, implying that you've perhaps had favorable matchups. How do you feel about that statement?
I think coming off the Ultimate Fighter, beating Colin Hart in the finale, and then getting Andrew Craig, who was coming, he was 3-1 in the UFC and had knocked out Rafael Natal, beat Chris Lieben, and I think he went to Australia and beat Carl Noak as well. That's not a favourable matchup. I think I was a 3-1 underdog or something like that. So I completely disagree. I think I was given Andrew Craig, boom, and I was like, all right, this is a test. They want to see if I can hang in the UFC. Obviously, I passed that with flying colours, and I got a few knockouts and a submission. And then Mats Nilsson was a surprise to me. Mats Nilsson was, he's another very, very talented guy. He's been around a long time in Europe, European MMA. I've watched a lot of his fights. Like I said, very, very talented guy. I think he should be a welterweight, and I think that was the big difference in the fight. He's quite small for the weight, but really, really talented guy. And he's an elite grappler. He had a skill. So I just negated that, and I think it was a favourable matchup for me. I feel like that matchup was set for me. I think the Andrew Craig fight was for Andrew Craig, and this fight was for me. And now Sean Strickland, it's the one. We're both undefeated, and I asked for it. So I don't think it's a favourable matchup either way. This fight, I think it's a tough match, and Sean's got to think of things to say. He hasn't got much to talk about. He's not been in the UFC very, very long, so probably the questions are more focused on me than they were on him.
That's a very good way of putting it. Now, sizing up your skills against his, aside from an obvious height and reach advantage, where do you see yourself being stronger?
Just that, I'm stronger. I think I hit a lot harder, and I'm just physically in a different place to him. I've been here in the UFC for a year, or over a year now, and I've been training I've always been training like a UFC athlete, but now I've had the money and the time and the publicity and all those things to really up my training. The training partners come to me, and I get the best training. Train with people like Chael Sonnen every day, and stuff like that really, really helps. So I think physically I'm just in a very, very different place to Sean. I think I hit a lot harder than he does. I think we saw that in the Mats Nilsson fight, the Andrew Craig fight. I think people look at me and I'm 6'6" and skinny. I think he referred to me as a beanpole. I think in one interview, and I am very, very skinny. But when I hit you, you're going to know about it. So I think that length that I have is a big deal. Just like John Jones, when he uses his length, I'm very, very similar in that. And I hit extremely hard. And people don't believe it until they're in the octagon with me and they feel it. They think, yeah, he just says that. And you can see the shots. I knocked out Andrew Craig. Oh, I didn't get the knockout, it was a sub, but dropped him with. They were very small, short shots, a little uppercut, a little right hand. I generate a lot of power with my long, gangly body. So I think Sean's got that to worry about. And I just don't think he's got the wrestling capability to take me down. If he's clever, that'll be his game plan, and he'll push the pace for a takedown the whole fight. But I think he's going to try and play karate and stand there and move around and try and kick my leg and kick and throw some silly teeps, and you know, and I'm going to land that big shot, and the fight's going to be over.
And so, since you couldn't quite get the knockout in your fight against Andrew Craig, will you perhaps be pursuing that this time and maybe keeping the celebrations until afterwards?
I always want the knockout. You know, I'm definitely not a knockout artist, I wouldn't say that, but I'm always looking for the knockout. I'm always looking to finish people, and I think Mats Nilsson was close. I think it went down as a TKO, even though I felt like I finished him off with a knee and it was a knockout, but it was a TKO. But I'm hoping for a clean finish in this fight, like a one shot, one drop, and just walk off celebrating. So hopefully I time it right this time.
And how's your quest going in becoming the face of UK MMA?
It's getting there. You know, it's getting there. I feel like I'm the man for the job. I feel like I'm the guy that possesses everything right now. I'm undefeated. I can talk to the media. I enjoy talking to the media. I enjoy spreading the words. I enjoy talking to fans. You know, it's something that's still relatively new to me. Really, you know, like I've been doing it a while, but it's still relatively new. So I have a passion for it, and I really want to spread the word of the UFC and be a part of that. And I want people to know what it is in Europe, you know, not just the UK, but in Europe, really know what it is, like they do in America. And I feel like I'm the guy to spread the message. So it's getting there, it's getting there. The more fights you win, the higher up you're on the card, the more media you do, you know, it's building slowly. But the goal right now is the Ultimate Fighter, coach the Ultimate Fighter, the UK Ultimate Fighter, you know, and that changes your career. That will make me the face of the UK. So it's up to the UFC if they think I'm up to the challenge, really, because they're the guys who get to pick stars. So I think I have the capability. Hopefully the UFC see that, they put me in the position, and I can spread the word.